Welcome to Brain Health Besties, a human-forward podcast for those of us who want to feel better but don't know where to start. I'm Bailey, a licensed professional counselor.
And I'm Nia, a qualified mental health professional.
And I'm Shelby, a human.
We are so glad you're here. And we believe that you deserve to know how your brain works and how to nurture it, even when self-care feels a little challenging.
We focus on kindness to ourselves and recognizing our own needs with as little guilt as possible, because your brain deserves a bestie.
Stars in my eyes, I can't see which way is right, but oh, if there's one thing that I know, it's only up front.
Hey besties, the practices we talk about here are great for your brain, but this podcast isn't treatment. If you're feeling overwhelmed, please call or text 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Help is always available.
Hey besties, when was the last time you played? Just for playing's sake. In today's Learning Together episode, we are going to talk about play and the idea that it's not just for kids, but certainly for adults as well. We'll be able to talk about some of the things that play can give us, such as some rest, some relaxation, some energy. And if you stick with us, we'll talk about just looking into the fact that maybe your brain might be craving a little more play too. So today you might see too, we have somebody with us, but we're going to tell you about him a little bit later. So we always want to start off by doing that self-assessment. So if you remember, we like to do the self-assessment scale from 0 to 5. So I'm going to turn to Bailey and Ethan today, right now, just to give ourselves kind of that little bit of a pause. How are you feeling right now in this moment, Ethan?
Quite anxious.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So on our scale, do you think it's all the way at the top?
Oh, it's at least a 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. Bailey, what about you?
Oh, I am at like a 2.5 today. Just, sometimes things are a bit of a whirlwind and it takes me a hot second to settle in. It's coming down as we're sinking into things, but that's just where I am in this moment.
Yeah, I'm picking 2.5 as well, which is a little bit higher than I normally am, but I think sometimes it's like the excitement as well as kind of the whirlwind of things. So,
yeah.
So thank you all for just kind of checking in.
And just a quick reminder that anxiety and excitement are on the same spectrum. So sometimes we can have that high energy nervousness when we're excited, and it can also be when we're anxious or nervous.
Agree.
Two sides of the same coin. Today, we are so excited to have a very special guest, Ethan Bryan. I'm going to read your formal bio, and then we'll let you tell us. Yeah, we'll let you tell us about a little more about you, Ethan. So Ethan Bryan is a student mentor at Community Partnership of the Ozarks, teaching character values and leadership skills to students through playing catch. In 2018, Ethan played catch every single day on an adventure that is recorded in his book, A Year of Playing Catch, and in the Works documentary. So that's to come soon, okay? And
Soon.
Yeah. He's a major fan of both Dr. Pepper and donuts, a very important fact. And Ethan lives in Springfield with his wife, Jamie, and they're likely already planning their next road trip. So welcome, Ethan. We are so excited for you to be here and for this conversation today.
Excited, anxious, spectrum again.
Yes.
All of it.
And
It's good to be here.
Yeah. My family, we call that skited, where you're a little scared, a little excited, all at the same time.
I might have to steal that word. That's
Please do.
fantastic.
Yeah.
It defines it.
Yeah, it
defines
does.
it a little better.
We're never one thing. So Ethan, we kind of love starting out with this sort of broad question, and your bio may have covered some of this already, but we love asking folks, who are you as a human?
It's a wonderful question. And in recent years, one of the favorite ways I like to define that is relationally. And that's where I want to start. So son and brother and husband and father-in-law, uncle, godfather, and then the all-encompassing friend. So those are the titles that I lean into. But I'm also a reader and a learner and an author and a storyteller. A huge advocate for baseball and pretty strong on the scale introvert and a very talented overthinker. and by far my own worst critic.
Okay. Yeah.
So those were the what was the word? What was the word of the day?
Skyded.
Skyded.
That's where the skyded comes in, is
Yeah.
the own worst critic.
Yeah.
So those are some of the bits and pieces
Wow.
of the
I
puzzle.
love those definitions.
I do too.
Some I hadn't heard before in the way you said them. So thank you for that.
And what I'm hearing is you're a whole human being with
Yes.
all the joys and the gaps that happen in being
The
human.
messiness of being human.
You get to do them all at the
Absolutely.
same time. So
Yeah,
thanks too.
exactly,
So yay.
Yeah. Well, and we were really excited about bringing you to this conversation. We've had interactions with Ethan before out in the community around this topic of play. So I think at first it might be helpful for us to define play a little bit, and then we would love to also hear your definition of play. So when Be Well talks about play, or here in the Besties team, we talk about it being time spent without purpose, that their activities we get lost into, we lose track of time, maybe get in what we know is that flow state. They're activities we feel free ourselves within, or they create feelings of liberation or freedom is the way we usually define play. I'm curious as to how your definition of play may be similar or differs from that.
Oh, well, I love all of that. And I know a lot of the references that you're pulling from with that definition. But one of my favorite definitions that I've come to recently is play is whatever one does for the joy of it.
Yeah.
And when you step into that joy and you discuss the timelessness of the flow state, cheeks gently high. But yes, when you think about being 10 and you know what it was that that occupied your time being 10, and that's the picture I really like to go to, especially as we age. We knew how to play when we were 10.
Yeah, we forget that sometimes
forget that.
as adults. And forget how important it is. I think we think oftentimes that kids are the only ones who get to own a play, but it is so vital for adults for a lot of reasons. There's a lot of brain health and physical health benefits that we see with that. We know lowering those cortisol levels, which is the stress hormone in our brains, is a benefit of play. It is the ability to get a much deserved break, to do something without like an end goal necessarily in mind. I personally have been really intentionally trying to build play into my life more often, and being strategic about that, which kind of sounds a little silly.
No.
Is structured play, but finding those moments and time for play.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let's jump into your whole mission with Catch 365, right? We're just going to talk about that because that's going to, I think, explain a little bit more to us about you. So tell us about the mission of Catch 365 and kind of what inspired it, and is it still going on? Tell us about that.
We could occupy way too much time on this question, so I'm going to try and keep it short.
Yeah.
It was inspired by my daughters. I have two daughters. One's now married, Kaylee in Columbia, and my youngest, Sophie. She's a student here at Missouri State. But for Christmas 2017, I got a ball that said, "Dad, want to play catch on it?" For January 1st, 2018, I played catch with both of them. And that night at the dinner table, they are the ones who prompted me. They asked, "Well, what would happen, Dad, if you played catch every day for a year?" And I laughed and I said, "Well, I would need surgery." But they encouraged me, and they're like, "You should try it." And it was incredible. And that's really what kicked off this addiction impetus to play and this new learning curve of why play is so important, you know. And so I played catch every year for every day for 2018. We went on multiple long road trips.
That's right.
And it turned out into a book a couple years later. And now there's people who are literally all over the country that are playing catch every day. I got a friend, John. He's in Washougal, Washington, and he is getting ready to travel across country to go to New York. They're going to attempt to set the Guinness World Record for the largest game of catch in honor of Yogi Berra at the Yogi Berra Museum on Sunday. On Sunday, it will be his 1,300th consecutive day of playing catch.
Wow.
And he's just one of the stories. There's stories, Dan and Don and Scott, who buried children as parents. And they're using catch as a tool of connection and healing and reminding them of the joy of being being dad, something that they shared with their kid. And there's just so many stories like that. And now I've been given this incredible opportunity with community partnership to use playing catch as a tool to connect with kids and adults. And it's just, I think it's an understatement for how important play is in our culture is we're a workaholic culture. And we are driven by and addicted to efficiency and productivity. And you kind of allude to that in your definition of play. But that narrative that we bought into, we miss the point of the story, which is joy and connection. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
And we often catch on, those deathbed stories. You don't wish you were more efficient. You don't wish you were more productive.
Right.
You wish you spent more time with. And so.
Right.
Yeah, and I keep hearing you say relationship and connection. I would love to hear you say a little bit more about how catch uniquely does that, because we can engage in isolative play, and that's still play and good for our brains.
Yes.
But tell me about the uniqueness of catch and how that helps with the relationship piece.
So I made some fantastic friends from the Center for Healing and Justice Through Sport, and they have done the brain science behind it. That I was grateful to have this conversation with them, but they said that playing catch is magic. First and foremost, playing catch is relational. You can't do it by yourself. It is face to face. It's you have to make eye contact. You want to make sure your catch partner is paying attention, and so it is relational to start with.
Yeah.
So that's the ground level of playing catch. Second, they call stress management. Is you two get to decide, how will you play catch? If it is 5 feet apart and you're just rolling the ball, that's that's good for you guys. And if you want to see how hard and far you can, that's also good for you guys. The last part is that the type of movement that catch is. They call it patterned, rhythmic, repetitive movement, and this is just, you can see it in any sport. And it's that kind of movement that's so good for our brains in tamping down the anxiety and tamping down the depression and helping us to breathe and regulate and reconnect to ourselves so that we can take that deep breath and be present. And that's the other part of the connection. It's because of how much of the brain it occupies, it really keeps you grounded right now, and so you lose track of time. Well, I've been throwing a ball for 30 minutes. That's why I'm drenched in sweat and tired, but you don't want to stop.
No. Well, and there's benefits to, so a couple different things. And I'm an art therapist by education, and we used to teach repetitive line drawing for the same reason. Once we get over the initial hyper awareness of it and our brain starts getting in that repeated pattern, it becomes soft focus, which our brains are constantly trying to work on that strong or hard focus, that narrowed focus, because we have 1,000 different distractions in our world around us. So when we can engage in things that require soft focus, it allows our brains to be interactive, but also to have a bit of that break too, which playing catch, we might feel a little uncomfortable at first if we're not very familiar with throwing a baseball or throwing or even rolling something back and forth. But once we get that practice in and we've been doing it for a while, it can allow our brains to go into that soft focus pace too.
I was thinking about when you were describing kind of that connection piece, I thought about encouraging somebody else too. I need encouragement because sometimes I don't catch the ball, you know? So I wonder around that, I wonder if there's anything that surprised you in particular about these relationships when you were playing catch with people.
I'm really glad you said that. Going back to that own worst critic part, I watch way too much baseball on television, all the highlights and everything. And you see these guys who are paid 7-8 figures to do phenomenal stuff, and then I compare myself to them, and I'm like, I can't do that. I can't throw like that. I can't move like that. I'm not supposed to. I haven't been trained to, and I'm significantly older than them anyway. But when you are connecting with someone, the point isn't, how accurate are. I mean, it's not about perfection, which is the standard that we're trained to. It's about connect. So if you drop the ball, if you make a bad throw, it's a chance hey, let's try again. So now you're teaching resilience. Now you're teaching tenacity. And now you're saying, oh, well, I can do better than that. I know I can. Let me try again. Let me just try again. And so it's an exercise. One of my favorite stories I told, it's a long form story, is playing catch is an exercise in developing grace. And we live in a graceless culture.
Yeah.
We want to, oh, you're not very good at this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you shouldn't do this. No, we need to look for opportunities to extend grace and say, yeah, do you want to come try?
Yeah.
I don't care how bad. Let's try together and let's learn together.
Yeah.
And so, because it is a yes activity, a with activity, let's figure out how we can do this together and learn. And we're going to remember that the whole point that we're doing this is to have fun.
It's play, right?
Yes.
And I think sometimes it is just that of putting, reminding ourselves, this is play, because then that gives permission for humility. That gives permission for us to mess up. That we're not trying to be Major League Baseball players here. We are engaging in play. And when we see kids play, we don't expect them to throw the ball perfectly every time. We don't expect them to catch every single ball. And so giving ourselves a bit of that permission and grace, as you said, to just be in it.
Yes.
And this actually takes me to, I love Dr. Stuart Brown's work on play personalities. The man is sort of the guru in the psychology play field and studies kiddos from birth all the way up into adulthood around play. And he developed, and I know that you are familiar with this, but he developed this theory that there are 8 different types of play personality archetypes. And oftentimes, even as adults, we may be playing and not really fully understanding or grasping that we are engaging in play. And there'll be a time at some point on this podcast where we'll dive into all of those. However, catch can be what Dr. Brown calls the kinesthete, right? Which is the movement for movement's sake. Competition might be part of that play, but it's not the motivational driver. So for those of us who love going for walks, playing catch, maybe doing yoga or some kind of repetitive movement, but we're not doing it for like a particular end goal, we might, a kinesthete may be one of our primary play personalities. So I'm just curious, because I know that you also are very familiar with Dr. Brown's work, kind of how you discovered that you might be a kinesthete, or that might be your top play personality, and if there were any ahas or anything for you when you discovered that.
It's what happens when I don't.
Yeah. Ooh, okay.
And so when I don't get enough time to play, and you get that anxiety that's bottled in, or those intrusive thoughts that are just on repeat and they're very loud, and play, I think it's a cohort of his, Brian Sutton Smith, I think, is the guy who said it, that the opposite of play is not work. The opposite of play is depression.
Yeah.
And so when and then the other statistic from our culture is sitting is the new smoking.
Yeah.
And so how much our body and our brains need that movement for us to rest, and us to be able to maybe it's move the number down the scale closer to the 0, but us to be better humans.
Yeah.
That movement is so just important, period.
Yeah.
And the part that, because of my job and being in different schools, that I struggle with is, school's 7.5 hours long and kids are sitting so much.
Yeah.
And I was like, these kids need to move.
You're like, I can't sit this long.
Let these kids go. And we wonder why they have trouble fidgeting. And it's like, let them be kids. Let them play.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that your reflection was like not how it impacts you when you're doing it, but it's what it feels like for you when you haven't moved your body. I can relate to that really deeply. And I know Nia is a mover too. So I'm curious if you're resonating as well.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I have found myself on a great schedule, and my play is a workout, a pretty hard one, every morning at 5 a.m., just to be clear. Yeah. But I miss it. And really my physical body may be a little more stiff on certain days if I've missed that. So talking about this play, its connection, its moving, its activity, I wonder how you might talk to somebody about starting play? And when you started, did you have some reservations? Yes, your daughters thought it was a good idea, but what did you think about it? And again, how did you get other people to kind of not see it as just a kid thing and they can't do it?
I think it has to be experienced.
Yeah.
You don't know the benefits of it till you try it. And so I think that what has really caught on, I've done a couple different times over the last 2 or 3 years. I'm trying to remember where we are. It's just a 30 days challenge.
Okay.
All right. I want just every day for 30 days, create a 15 to 20 minute window of this is your time to play. And what's really neat, I'm going to brag on my friend Matt.
Yeah.
He reached out to me. It's been 3 years ago now. He said, so I read your book and I read about this 30 days stuff. And I'm thinking about, I want to play catch for 30 days. I was like, great, go for it. He invited me up to Indianapolis. We got to connect. I was his first catch partner. He says, can I connect it to something else? I was like, I don't know. It's play. The no end goal guys. This is his 3rd September of playing catch every day to raise money for the hungry in his community.
Oh, that's amazing.
And he's raised something like $60,000.
Wow.
Just
Goodness.
by going out into the community, saying, all right, today I just want to play with you and we're just going to talk. But if you want, you can donate to this cause.
That's cool.
And so, so maybe that's the adult part. You still 30 days. Take 20 minutes, go play for 30 days. And it'll make a difference.
Yeah. Well, I think there's something too about like what you're talking about with this friend of yours, Matt, recruiting somebody to do it with you. Because we are social creatures,
Yes.
having somebody who's like, okay, I might feel a little silly doing this at first. Will you come do this with me?
Yeah.
And trying out some things to figure out what works for us. So maybe it is too scary, or I don't know how your friend felt, but maybe the idea of just playing catch isn't quite enough. Like, how can I motivate myself by adding a fundraising element, or by promising my kiddo that I'm going to play catch with them every day, or just finding something small that we can engage in, I think. What are your thoughts, Nia?
Yeah, I think that is it too. Sometimes when we start new things, or if someone poses us the question to start a new thing, we're like, I don't, there's no time, I can't, I don't know how to do that. But I love a challenge. Bailey knows I love a challenge, and Shelby knows I love a challenge. But I love a challenge because a challenge, like you said, the 30-day challenge, it's just a challenge. I mean, there's no right or wrong. If you pick up the challenge, great. If you do it a little bit, fine. You can always go back to that challenge. But it sounds like some people that you've challenged to this picked it up, and even kind of, like you said, Matt has created an entire thing that actually moves out into the community even more, and it's sustainable, and that's just amazing. And that was just with a game of catch.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Besties, we are very excited because the follow-up episode here is all about catch. You're going to get to see us play a little bit of catch and do a bit of practice, and we'll go through our observations as we do so. So tune in to the next episode to engage in a little bit of play. Take care and be well. If you enjoyed this episode, like and subscribe to Brain Health Besties so you can find us in the future.
And since sharing is kind, share us with your besties.
If you have mental health or wellness topics you'd like us to chat about, please reach out to bewell@livebrightly.org.
Until next time, be well, besties.
Shining brighter than the sun.